Hey guys, Super here, welcome back to Let's Play Axiom Verge. Third try's the charm, though this is really past the third try because game crashed on me again, but funny stuff, funny stuff. Anyway, the reason why we're starting here and not at the previous save point like I said we would be last time, finding sequence break stuff, etc. The reason for that is sequence break stuff in this is rather disappointing. You can't get anything aside from like health pickups, power pickups, lore that you can't even read most of currently. It's just, you can't get anything worthwhile from it. If you could get a single major power-up early, it would be amazing, so much better. But you can't. You just can't. So that's why we're back here, and also, we can't go this way. This is an interesting area, though, because I say that's a lot. There's a lot of interesting areas, so let's just assume that. But this area is basically a corridor. It connects every area we've been to thus far, and I think by the end of the game it connects every area but two along the corridor. So you could use it as a bit like a fast track to get to various different places, but we can't do anything with it currently. So I guess we gotta keep going up. But yeah, you can't do much with the sequence break yet, and you could do what I did initially. Like, we went back after getting the high jump, we went back further after getting the ability to clip through walls with the lab coat. And we could go back after getting the next power-up, and the power-up after that. But there's no reason to with the power-up after that, because the third power-up would be the one that would allow us to go back normally. So, and considering how close together these power-ups are, I don't even see it being worth it to go back and continue the sequence break at all. Also, those ant, lion, spider things are annoying. And we can't corrupt that. Speaking of annoying enemies, these things. You can't shoot them. They are invincible against shooting, but you can drill them. You can drill a hole into them. Ugh. But whenever you come close, they will turn around and spew up poison at you, which is a pain in the butt. But that's neither here nor there. Because, as I didn't point out last room, welcome to the surface of Sudra. You know all these tight, cramped quarters that we've been running around? Yeah, the surface isn't like that. It's this big open area. Like, there's a few rooms admittedly, but for the most part it's huge and open, and there are falling boulders on the screen. So many falling boulders. I will get through here before another one falls on my head. So many falling boulders. I didn't know we were playing... Technically they'd have to be barrels if we were playing Donkey Kong, but whatever. We also have these wheel enemies on the screen. Mildly annoying, but what you gonna do about it? Oh wow, you can crouch under them there. I could have sworn I usually get hit if I do that. Speaking of getting hit... I hate those enemies so much. And I get hit there, of course. I don't get hit the first time, and I get hit the second time because I'm bad. That's the reason I'm going with. Freaking head burn. These freaking ant lion things are obnoxious. I'm really glad those things also take the time to try and turn around and then turn back around on you. And they are no longer concerned because both of those guys just ran off the cave thing we're in. Can't jump high enough to go up there. So I guess we'll go over here. Because over here there is a door. And a one-tile wide force field. Shame we can't clip through this. I really like that most of the power-ups in this game, like the Address Disruptor, corrupts enemies. We have the ability with the lab coat to clip through walls. We're basically like just breaking the game in order to play it. Which explains why I've crashed this game like 3 times now in recording. Speaking of fun power-ups though, say hello to the remote drone. You can fire to launch a remote drone, which we can detonate at any time to return to Trace. The remote drone, or as I like to call it, the Headcrab. Tell me this is not a Headcrab. Seriously? As a Headcrab, you can run around, you can jump, you can fire an 8-direction little wave thingy, which acts as a drill, so you can drill through blocks. And it's very convenient that this acts like a drill because these enemies can't be hurt by anything but the drill. Those freaking annoying enemies. The Headcrab also has its own little health bar. You see the orange one below Trace's. When you return to Trace, which brings back the mine machines, you'll see that the health bar for the drone regenerates slowly. If that drone is destroyed, I believe you just turn back to trace, and it would regenerate up from would regenerate back from no health to full. And I'm gonna go up and around again because all the enemies are gonna remain dead because we didn't go far enough away to make them respawn. Yay! That boulder almost fell on my head, but it didn't because I didn't want it to. Unfortunately, these enemies did all respawn because we went far enough away. But I get to show off another interesting thing with the headcrab, and that is they can go into another room with it. You're not limited to the room that you fired it in. I like that. I just wish that its shot was a bit more powerful so that I could kill these little laser thingies faster. I also wish either that or I wish that I had the address disruptor with the drone. As it stands, you do not, so you're kind of stuck with this rather feeble energy drill thing. And I don't know how those things didn't hit me, or how that one didn't try to shoot at me. The other interesting thing, though, is that you can pick up power-ups with the headcrab. In doing so, we'll give them to trace as well. You don't need to come back or anything. You can just detonate, and the mine machines return to trace with the power-up. And the power-up we got is a new weapon. This is the Hypno Atomizer, I believe it's called. And it's an interesting weapon, I suppose. It shoots out a single shot that fires a pair of shots up and down at predetermined intervals. So they will always go up at the same spot as long as you haven't moved. I don't care too much for this gun. I don't use it much outside of a few enemy packs. It's like, this gun will be pretty useful here. An enemy pack like this one right in this room. Since these enemies are incredibly fragile, we can kind of just hit them in one shot and it'll take out multiple of them. It is useful for one other case, and we will actually see that other case at the end of the video, or before the end of the video, because I wouldn't want to do it without it. Not to say that we can't do it without it. Like I think I mentioned, there are a few required weapons. 3 of them, to my knowledge. The Axiom Disruptor, also I think we pointed this out when I was here, but the Axiom Disruptor, the Nova, and I believe the Cliver are all required. Every other weapon should be optional. Not to say you don't want to get the other weapons because they are very useful in their given cases for the most part. Like some of them are also completely useless, but many of them are useful for at least one case or another. Also, say hello to another health node fragment. And the fact that we need to come in from above if we want to actually come into this room properly from that side. But we can't jump high enough, and we can't even drill up there currently. We'll actually be entering this room from the other side when we come in through that passageway, so it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat the power up we need to do that as well, because by the time we're able to go through there, we're pretty much breaking this game wide open. But the next power up we are coming to grab is down here in this room. Because, oh man, there's a tube tile wide force field. We can't clip through that. But oh hey, there's this really narrow passageway up here. Shame we can't launch something through there to get to the switch on the other side. Oh wait. Go headcrab powers. Friggin' headcrab. And this is also kind of a mini point of no return because we can't quip back through walls unless we're currently level with it, so only way to go forward is forward. Makes perfect sense. You annoying die. I'm going to get through this room. I'm going to get through this room without taking any damage, and I don't know how I do it. Tell me how I do this. I am not trying. I am just running back and forth and shooting my little laser baby. How do those enemies work? I think it's probably just I have a small hitbox currently. How did I get through that without taking a single bit of damage? Alright, whatever. Not gonna question it. Not gonna question it. Hey, you. Come on. Come on. Jump at me. Ah! Darn it. Can I get him to jump at me? Can I get him to jump at me? I want him to try to jump at me. I want him to try and jump at me. Oh, by the way, there are interesting things you can do with the drone. Come on. Yes. He tries to jump at the end of the ledge, but he can't because the wall is too high. So it just glitches there. And now that I've shown that off, I'm just going to keep going. Because, can't corrupt that, but there's a power-up here. I wonder what it is. Say hello to the Address Disruptor 2. Makes your Address Disruptor more powerful. Now then, before we could not corrupt certain enemies. Oh hey, we can now. Couldn't uncorrupt these blocks. Oh hey, we can now. It's probably one of the more straightforward power-ups considering what we already have. I mean, the high jump is, in my opinion, the most straightforward power-up. You need to have no context of what is in this game to realize that, oh hey, I have a high jump. I can jump higher now. But once you have the Address Disruptor 1, it's kind of understandable to see what the Address Disruptor 2 does. If you jerks. Now then, we could also go through here. I don't want to go through there yet. We can't do much over there, to be honest, so it's not really worth it. But what I want to do is come back to the surface. Because these things, we could not corrupt them before. We can now. And when they're corrupted, we can hurt them with gun. I like the drill, but being able to gun those enemies when they try to use that poison thing to keep you away, so satisfying. Other things we cannot do is corrupt these blocks and pass through them. Which will allow us to go to a whole new area in this area. Come on, back. Perfect. Perfect. The splash from the shot against the little wall in front of us can't hurt you. So, these enemies are really obnoxious. I'm gonna kill them. It's just gonna be a matter of me shooting them. Shooting them a whole bunch. Okay, now you're dead. Now I can... Of course. Come on. There we go. Freaking annoying enemies. I hate that room so much. Now, would you like to do that room again, pretty much? Because this room is more or less the same. I could also corrupt these enemies. I don't feel they're any easier or harder to kill when corrupted. But another thing which you may notice is I'm in lava. Another thing you might notice is that we were able to corrupt this little puddle there. It's a fainter color of pink, which is your clue that it's different, and you need to corrupt it in order to get up there. But I like that they gave it the tell of being a different color, so that you know that there's something odd about it. And let's corrupt as much of this as possible. Corrupt you, and kill you. Perfect. And kill you. Alright, now then. Oh hey, you see the enemy that's going around up top? I wonder if we can get up there. Well, we can't drill through this passageway, but they can. This is a rather obvious hidden area, to be honest, but it's still pretty nice. And if you come to the end of it, there's a health node fragment, which is going to be our filth. What was I trying to say? Our 5th health node fragment, which basically completes the health node and gives us more health. And I always like more health. I mean, how can you go wrong with more health? Really? I hate these enemies. Let's corrupt you. Oh yeah, that's right. They become indestructible and platforms when corrupted. Also, I don't know if I've demonstrated this yet, but anything that you corrupt... Kill you first. Anything you corrupt, you can't uncorrupt. Come on. Okay, maybe not anything, but most things you corrupt, you can uncorrupt. So, I'll have to demonstrate that later, I suppose. For now, though, I'm going to save, because as I mentioned at the start of the video, there's no real point for me to do the sequence break anymore. So, I'm going to save here, especially because the boss up ahead has killed me. Just because I have a good strategy and a good weapon for dealing with him. This boss is also why I want the atomizer. He's a pain. And Trace is getting used to how this twisted world works. But this giant armored monster appears confused? Come on, Trace, you can talk your way out of this. You can totally talk your way out of this to the giant mutant crab thing with 4 visible guns. Go Trace! Go Trace! He is confused. You might be able to do this, Trace. You might be able to do this, Trace. And here is an interesting line. Cannot trust Athetos. Strange, that. But to be safe, it must die. Because of course, we can't just walk away from a boss fight without fighting it. Now then, think about this boss. It has essentially 4 attacks. Has the stun. Its tail will shoot, and it will jump at you. The other thing you'll note is that as I shoot at it, you're getting these little tings from no damage. This boss has 1 weak point. See that green little growing area on its bottom backside? That's its only weak spot. If you did not have the Hypno Atomizer, the only way to hurt this boss would be to use the Nova 1 shot at a time. I've done that. I don't want to do that again. This boss is obnoxious to fight with just the Nova, believe me. Also, here's this little tail flamethrower thingy. It makes sense that the tail is a flamethrower. But yeah, so, and there's the jump. But with the Nova, you're doing this 1 attack at a time, and this is a very long attrition battle. You'll notice just from early mistakes, I'm already down to almost half health. I may have had a little more health at this point because I went back and did a lot of things before I came forward and found this boss to fight him on my previous run through, but just being able to get a ton of attacks in on him at once is a godsend. Away from the flamethrower. You, sir, are obnoxious. Come on. Die to the Hypno Atomizer. It's a shame this gun isn't that powerful, but you can get so many attacks in with it that it doesn't matter that much. Oh god. Oh, thank God. Dangerous fight is over. And yeah, you're right on the ball, Trace. Get done fighting this giant monster, half dead, well, mostly dead, and your first thought is, he didn't want to fight. What's going on? What's going on is something that would have been nice to know earlier, to be honest. All of the bosses we have fought were humans who were changed by the pathogen by Athetos. But of course, they don't always forget what they were. That's... And I Must Scream, I believe is the name of the trope. But at least they weren't innocent? But the point of the matter is, Trace is still killing people, even if they were transformed into giant, hideous monsters with guns grafted to their bodies. Yeah. Probably not, Trace. Elsnova doesn't seem to think of any way, but Elsnova probably hasn't been looking too hard to find a reason. Because she really doesn't like these things. She would not want to spare them herself anyway, so might have to look to find a way. And health! Give me the health, please. Oh, health. Also, saying this now. That corner of the map, upper left, pain in the butt to get on map. Oh hey, it's another one of these things. The Rusalki. And I'm not even going to pronounce her name. One of them that was an ally of Athetos. Interesting though, because it would have, from the beginning, what Elsnova said, it would have made sense, or led to believe that all of the Rusalki were against Athetos. But, yeah, she's kind of dead now. And believe me, Trace, they fight rather interestingly. With a lot of drones to begin with. It's all they had after everyone died. Until Athetos stopped even those. Well, I guess there's not much to do except continue. But before we do so... You can't see me. You can't see... Alright, I'm gonna get out of her now. That's kind of creepy to stand in the body... in the head of a dead water machine supercomputer AI thing. So I'm not gonna. Corrupting these guys only really slows them down, but they're obnoxious to deal with anyway, so we're just gonna keep going. Because as we keep going, we will see a save point. Or not a save point. What am I talking about? We'll see a force field that we can clip through. And a blue switch. Have we seen blue switches yet? Must be important. I wonder what it'll do. Oh no. We've given the Rusalki access to an endless horde of headcrabs. This is truly the end of times. Nah, who am I kidding? They're gonna be totally responsible now that these supercomputer AI things have an endless supply of headcrabs. Probably. Yeah, we should check on the other Rusalki to make sure that they are being sufficiently repaired. And since Ophelia, whom we haven't met yet, has a way to bypass the pathogen, we may want to find her first. I mean, Trace has questions as well to learn, so... But being able to find a cure to this pathogen would probably be the best things if it turns people into the giant monster thing we fought. Yeah. I don't know if I talked much about the breach attractor either, but it was in the cutscene we saw probably last video. Thetos is using it to blockade the world essentially, and yeah, if we're going to free the world and be able to be returned home, we're going to have to deal with this breach attractor and Thetos directly. Unfortunately, Elznova can't get us to them, so we'll have to do it ourselves. But everything pretty much makes sense now. We have a clear-cut goal. Things are going better for the Rusalki now, since they do have a way to fight back with the drones, and they are being repaired. And yeah, let's continue a little while further, actually. Oh man, headcrabs. Oh man, this looks totally suspicious. Oh man, we can't go through there yet. So I suppose we just have to go up. These enemies here, by the way, are obnoxious. Oh my god, are they obnoxious. The big ones corrupting the small guys, and the small ones corrupting the big ones. Because that totally makes sense. And they like to jump. And also these enemies here in the wall would normally jump back and forth like that, and just keep going back and forth. But when you corrupt them, a path follows behind them. And this path, oh, perfect! I'm almost dead, and then you give me a life. It's like the game knows what I need. Alright. And bring you back. And you kill yourself in the wall. That's the other nice thing about corrupting these enemies, is that when they do reach the wall, they just kill themselves. I did not want to corrupt you. Perfect. Alright, now then, what I was saying earlier is that you can... Come on. You enemies. So obnoxious. I hate these little freaking things. There we go. Freaking annoying enemies. You know, yeah, sure, you go over there. I don't care about you too much. Oh, those little enemies are so obnoxious. Just jumping off of walls into you all over the place. And then I fell. I'm gonna fall here a lot, I can tell. And I managed to corrupt that guy mid-flight. Perfect. Ugh, this room is full of such annoying enemies. Come on, you wanna jump? You wanna jump? Alright, no, you don't wanna jump, you wanna die. Can't go that way, can't jump high enough there, so I guess we gotta progress through here with the headcrab. Hey, there's a switch. Well, there was a switch. Actually, the switch is still there, I just hit it, so... Stop mocking me. Switch obviously gets rid of the force fields, allowing us to progress further. And I'm going to end it off here, because this room is a save room. We've done a lot this video. We've gotten 2 new power-ups, new weapon, beat a boss, learned the bosses used to be human. Yeah, that's not good. Restored the drones, giving the Rusalki an endless horde of headcrab drones, which will in no way backfire on us, at all. Just hide in the corner, Grace. Just hide underneath the egg. And we've pretty much discovered our current... We have declared what our current goal is. We know what we need to do. We need to find Ophelia and find a way to the Thetos so we can deal with them directly. Getting to them may not be the easiest thing, however, but we know what we need to do. And so we're going to be working towards that goal next time. Until then, guys, later. Saving games. Whew.